Well, g'day everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Drew's Adventures. I'm here with my good mate Tom, and we are in the little hamlet of Hammond in South Australia. Now, I'm going to be putting some statistics up on screen. In 2016, this town had a population of 17 people. In 2021, which is the latest Australian census, it had a population of 22 people. So it's a very quiet, quaint little town in the lower Flinders Ranges. It was surveyed in 1879. It was named after the eldest son of the 10th Governor of South Australia. It was actually planned to have a very similar layout to the city of Adelaide, where parklands would surround the town square. At one point, Hammond had a population of 600 people, but unfortunately the 1880s drought and ongoing isolation from the necessities of life led to the town's slow decline. What we're going to be doing today is having a look through this town. We will try and traverse as much of the public roads as we can, and we're going to see just what Hammond looks like today. At the moment I'm on Hammond Road, and we have some older style buildings here. As you can see, that's the old hotel here on the right, and we'll do a loop back around that. We're going to take a right first down Main Street, and there are some very interesting buildings here. I think we'll go down Main Street and we'll take a left, and I'll show you the old church and a few other buildings along here. So this is the former Catholic church out here for Hammond. Beautiful building. I don't think it's actively in use anymore. AMDG, I imagine that would be Deo Gloria. I don't know what the AM stands for, but you can see 1907. I think this here might have been a boot scraper back in the day, this piece of metal here. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong on that. But what a beautiful old church that is. And it looks to be in fairly reasonable condition too, all things considered. I don't know if we can see through there or not. Little inscriptions in each of the windows. Rest to the souls of the parents of J.A. Kearney, I think, on that one. Someone's put some sort of structure here in front of this one, but some very, very beautiful stained glass windows on this particular church, folks. Where thy glory dwelleth, M. Barry. Ah, there you go. It's an M. Barry. And Lord, I have loved the beauty of thy house, P. O'Day, I think. So I'm reading these back to front, folks, so I might not have them right, but we'll try. But yeah, look at that. Beautiful colours in that stained glass. Got a green there, a blue, a sort of beer-like colour, and then this beautiful panel in the middle and some green up the top. Love that old sign writing, look at that. WP Chase, maybe? Chancey? I don't know, but absolutely gorgeous. So let's keep exploring. So this, everyone, that we're about to drive past is the Hammond Hotel. It opened in 1877, closed in 1972, and Tom was just telling me off camera that he thinks it may have been recently purchased and it may well be reopening. It very clearly says that it's privately owned and no trespassing everywhere, so we won't be able to go in and have a look. But nevertheless, what a curious little place. And you can imagine the stories of these little pioneer towns and how many folks would have traversed through this area. I love this one here. This is obviously also a privately owned dwelling. Wouldn't that be a beautiful home to live in? It looks actually really comfortable, just needs a bit of work. Would you want to live out here? Would you want to renovate a place like this? Let me know in the comments below. It's going to turn down Randall Street now, and it doesn't look like it has a whole lot here. There are these ruins, folks. There is a caravan out there. I'm curious as to whether someone does live on this block. I don't know. So perhaps they got one of the last bargains around in South Australia for real estate. Unfortunately, this particular home and the one next to it, just to its right, definitely seen better days, and I don't think you'd be able to restore that too easily. So we're going to drive up over the road. I believe it's still Randall Street that we're continuing on, and we will have a look at the building down here, which almost looks like a schoolhouse to me. There are some old buses out here as well, folks. Perhaps they were once the school buses for this region, or charters or tours. Of course, the closest towns to Hammond that are reasonably big are Melrose and Wilmington and Corn. So we just left the West Terrace, folks, and now we're coming back into the main street. Now on the left there is actually a little monument, and I want to just go and check that out. So this here, folks, is the cairn that was erected in memory of the pioneers of Hammond Methodist Church, opened 1884, closed 1955. So I'm going to assume that the Methodist Church probably was here, but obviously it has been long removed from the landscape here. Bit of a curiosity, back there is a tree with a fence right around it. I don't know if that means anything, potentially. That was a little glimpse at the plaque, which appears to be all that's left of the former Hammond Methodist Church. Now let's go left and we'll see what other little side roads we can traverse down. Got a couple of older buildings here on the left. Let's go down this street here and see what we can see. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. And that, I reckon, might have been an old, perhaps a bank or a shop. I really, really love this front timberwork and these doors. Just stunning. You can see how the timberwork inside that former shop window is also quite nice. It's just sad that the town itself could never really take off due to its location, due to its isolation. You know, lofty goals of these pioneers, but often the goals were not realised when they learnt the harsh realities of the landscape and bush life out in these dry parts of South Australia. Go down to the next little one down here. A lot of history out here. I think this would have been the memorial hall on the left here. don't know if it's actually owned as a home now or not. Now it's just a little plaque here, and we'll see what that says. A tribute to the efforts and courage displayed by pioneers of this district, Hammond, 1876 to 1976, unveiled on the 15th of October 1976. Bit of a split here. This is Centenary Road now. I think on the right there's evidence of a new little sort of a shed dwelling or some sort of dwelling just here on the right hand side. That would have been an old home, I believe, and someone's purchased it and doing something with it, which is really nice to see. It's a town on the comeback, I would think. And there's definitely traces of the old homes here, even if they're not standing anymore. You do notice things like water tanks, bits of sheet roofing, piping and tubing around the place. So that's something to always keep your eyes peeled for when you come out to these towns, is look for your evidence of your old foundations, your old fencing, your old roofing, the whole box and dice. There is a lot of history that people miss because they don't look down and around at what could be right in front of them. As you can see right here, these sites here are probably old spots where homes were once standing but are no longer. Let's just have a look at some of the old art on the windows of this hotel, the former Hammond Hotel. Here's the former Hammond Hotel. Now, as it says very clearly, we cannot wander inside of this one, but I just wanted to show you all around the outside of it. Look at that beautiful old bar sign. Now that is a quality work of art, signwriting wise. Got where the kegs would have gone. I don't think I can really film much in there. Maybe I can, but there is the old bar in there. You can sort of see that. Mary Irene Talbot, licensed to sell wines, ales and spirits. I love that old school writing on there, and the old barn doors here. Perhaps down here, some of the dining rooms and front bar rooms and accommodation perhaps as well. We're coming up to Willowie. So Willowie is another micro town, and steeped in the southern Flinders ranges, of course, as well. I'm going to go have a look around and drive through this little town and see what secrets Willowie might show to us. Now, according to the census, which does include farm homesteads and farmland, there were about 33 people that lived in this area in 2021. I'll put those stats up. You can see the change in this little micro township. So I'm on West Street at the moment, and we will go down Church Street. We've got little private retreat here. Someone's definitely living there. Look at that. What a gorgeous building that is. We can't go in there, it's privately owned now, but you can still see the old sign, and it was dedicated, I think, in 1923, if you can read that little middle stone section. Now, in the corner here used to be the general store. Tom was telling me. Shop, yeah. So that's just here on the left. We're just past this vehicle here.
Gordon and Glennie Jones ran it.
Right, let's have a look here. So we have a couple of private dwellings here. this, folks, coming up on the left, past this little bunch of trees, is the Willowie Memorial Hall. So we're on Memorial Road, folks, at Willowie in South Australia's southern Flinders Ranges District. Oh, I like what I'm seeing on the left. Here we go, folks. This would have been the tennis courts once upon a time. So what we're looking at here, everyone, right next to the Willowie Memorial Hall, is what once was the Willowie Tennis Court. And you can tell that pretty easily by, firstly, the old net posts, and of course the old umpire chair is right here as well. Isn't that a blast from the past? I wonder when the last tennis match was held here. Go for a wander up this way. You can see where the nets once were. Those green posts, and what I would imagine would have been the change rooms or club rooms over to the left in that shed. It's definitely got about 3 courts that were here, but no longer. You wouldn't be able to play tennis on this anymore. But what an interesting little piece of history. So over here, folks, I believe was once the tennis court club rooms or change rooms. As you can see, hasn't been used for a long time actively. Some bones here of some sort of animal. Ooh, that's pretty interesting. That's an old goat, I think. You can even see its old horns. Here's another view of the tennis courts as we come around this side of the old club rooms. So much history, and quite sad that these little towns don't really have much in the way of recreation anymore. But you can see in there, check that out, the old serving bench, I think, in the middle here, and a couple of old bleachers. So there you go, folks, that was Willowie, and what an interesting little place. Not much left, but still people making the very best of what they can out here. Giving you a little tour of the township of Morchard in the southern Flinders. As you can see, this one's actually doing right, this town. For a small town, look at these well-kept recreational facilities right here. There is a green tennis court, there is a couple of blue tennis courts as well. So this one's actually not too bad, despite being also quite isolated. So I wonder what the difference is between this town and others that we have seen in this series. That looks great. We'll go up here. We're on 4th Street at the moment. Got an old church to the left. Oh, that's definitely abandoned. Wow. That is interesting. In fact, there might be 2 churches next to each other. Oh, check that out, folks. There's no signage. I wonder what that would have been, that one. But that is awesome. What a neat old place that is. Definitely abandoned, but one next to it may not be. So we'll have a little look. Yeah, no, that's looked after a bit more, I think, or still somewhat maintained. It is the Uniting Church and the former Methodist Church from Morchard, 1924. What a glorious building that one is. I love the brickwork, the paintwork, and even that old sign out the front here. It's quite something. So we'll go down 5th Street. So on the right here, folks, is the former Morchard Hotel. Just imagine the stories that a building like this could have told. I think it's also designed in an Art Deco style. So I'm just walking up to what was the Morchard toilet block, I think, and I reckon there had to be something else right here. This looks to me like an old petrol pump base, but I don't know for sure. And this building right here served as the general store and also the post office as well. The old sign there, and look at that beautiful veranda. And there are not very many post boxes, but I like the old numbers on them. These are something a bit different. And look at the gorgeous storefront